Hi everyone, good evening. I hope you can hear me quite well. This time hopefully there isn't any discrepancy with the sound. Let's see where we are with the people connecting. Waiting on Substack. Okay. Hey Peter. So I hope the sound is okay. Today another crazy day in paradise. Today we need to talk about something very important. We need to talk about pressure and rights. So in the last 24 hours since we had our conversation, me and my team have been under tremendous pressure from different conflicted parties that just want to declare again Shape Robotics bankrupt and stop our, let's say, professional way of presenting the situation and proving that they have been from day one just conflicting parties that served only one single purpose, meaning that Kronman Roymert and Thijs Wormsleu had only one agenda, and that agenda was to pay Danske and to cover everything that was done with Carnegie and make peace quickly in the system and not allow to, let's say, prove what we are proving. That's the reason why, again, we don't have access to documents, nothing happened, everything is in the same way as yesterday, the only difference being that we managed to today to sell goods. We sold the robots, approximately 100,000 euros worth of robots. We should see some money coming in. Slowly we try to rebuild and to reconstruct the company. As I said, it is dead. There is now the Lazarus effect. We are trying to resurrect it and put it back on track. Hopefully we will find out more on the next days on how this is possible and how we can support this better. The good thing is that we have a lot of decent people around us that are trying to give us a hand. So let's see where it takes us from a company state point of view, okay? But today we will talk about something very important. We have drafted a petition towards the High Court in Denmark. This petition is sent for information in order to protect the rights of the shareholders. And without further ado, I will share the screen and I will present this petition so that everybody knows it and can download it from our video in the next 1 hour or something after we finish the live. So let's hello again to everybody. If there are questions, I will answer them as soon as they appear. Right now, let's go into share screen and go directly to the case. Okay. So screen number 2. Okay. What we see here is the petition that we sent to the High Court of Eastern Denmark. We have carbon copied the Maritime Insolvency Court, or what is the name. And the purpose of the petition is the following. We had a table of contents. Of course, we apologize because we didn't have time to do a proper translation in Danish. The only official translator in Romania right now is in vacation, and we didn't have time to go to the embassy for their services for official translation, so we apologize for the court. And I said we are writing in English because we don't speak, read, or write Danish. But hopefully this is quite a good AI-based translation and we can go directly to the thematics. So as an executive summary, we're writing this to the Honorable Court because it was the court that identified the fundamental violation of our company's rights on the 5th of March 2026. We put the annex for it. and we have nowhere else to turn. I respectfully bring to the court's attention the development since the ruling. On March 5th, Austria Landstred unanimously annulled the bankruptcy. As we all know, the case was remanded for the bankruptcy court. And of course, we try to present the situation as it is. Since the annulment 14 days ago, the former trustee has handed over nothing, no documents, no money, nothing. The company funds are still withheld in an unauthorized escrow, an account that was created by the trustee without us, I don't know, without our knowledge or not, but in the end, without an authorization from the company. He didn't represent the company anymore, and 6 days later he was making an escrow account. And what the court may not yet know is the fact that Shape Robotics is not just a small company, it's a Nasdaq listed company, of course, 4,800 creditor. We have attached for the first time the Bechtle contract agreement that Sanaco had, and we'll make it public for everybody. You should be able to read it thoroughly and understand why Sanaco has received financing and how Sanaco operated in good faith under the leadership of my team. Over 4,800 creditors, which are the shareholders, suppliers, and employees. And pay attention, shareholders are creditors in this situation. We have added the addendums of the contract with Bechtle, also very important because you can see the list of material, everything, pricing. We confirm we have added to the court and for its information the fact that we have a new signed agreement of 50 million euros with Iris Capital. And the fact that, of course, everybody knows it already, the trustee has cancelled the EGM without even informing the shareholders about it. So this is a gross negligence, let's call it elegantly negligence, which if it didn't happen today, we would have 15 million euros in our account. So I don't know what we should talk about Shape Robotics being bankrupt when everything was clearly explained and signed and presented. Now, the most important part, the conflict of interest. So the trustee, again, is a partner at Kroman Royman, KR. KR is the law firm that filed the bankruptcy petition on behalf of Danske Bank and AFO. Okay? The same firm that represented the petitioning creditor appointed its own partner as trustee. In 59 days, the trustee destroyed the company with north of $40 million euros in contracts revenue and 15 million in available financing, reducing it to zero deliverable assets. Very important now, a thing that we have discovered with the legal team. In 18th of December, the Danish parliament passed a law called L20, okay, which strengthens trustee impartiality rules, induces ad hoc trustee for conflicts of interest, and bar recent advisors for serving as trustees. The very situation this law was designed to prevent is exactly what happened to Shape Robotics. So this law, which we will discuss also thoroughly tonight, is basically annulling any kind of conflictual behavior or conflictual situation between the trustee and the lawyer that represented creditors, debtors, and anybody in the last 2 years that could have an interest in controlling the bankruptcy. Okay. Also, we notified the court. Everybody that is following us knows about this, about the criminal cases. I have spoken today with the Copenhagen police. They are already working and they have opened a case number. I will share the case number tonight. The case number, I have it in my agenda, is 0100-83986-100 362-26. I will share it also for everybody here, and then you can have it as a journal entry, so that we all know when we're talking about seriousness and transparency, not finance style or any other venue that is just lying to you. This is the case file, trustee Shape Robotics. I have written it in the chat so everybody can have this information and of course know everything that is happening. Very important, we also have informed the court about the most important aspect of the conflict being the fact that we have a written agreement that was already assigning Kronman Reumert as Entace as a trustee 39 days before this was officially, let's say, officially legally accepted by the Maritime High Court. I explained clearly, I'm not an army here, I'm just a person in Romania with a couple of good lawyer friends, no funds, no access to company property, and we are against the most, one of the largest law firms in Denmark. So at least the court now understands well what is the situation. We have explained it completely in the sense that we have shown exactly how things happened. We have proven exactly the points that we have discussed before, that the contract between us and Danske was not finalized, was not signed properly. We were being tricked to pay a huge amount of money out of the pockets of the Romanian company that had the money. This was the transfer was made by the Romanian company in the Danske account of Kronman Reumert, by the way, so not in the client's account. And this is proof without any kind of doubt that everything was orchestrated. So the trustee and the lawyer of the same bank just wanted to have a good payday with Danske Bank. This document is going to be fully available, fully explained to everyone. I don't want to keep you so long, of course, because you would have time to read it, and it's 112 pages. Hello, Cosmin. So it's a very comprehensive document that will allow you to understand exactly the legal situation, and hopefully the courts will understand it also. Till the moment, extremely important aspect, there is no official serving of any sort of petition from the High Court. What it is a lot of noise in the market, and we receive a lot of pressure calls. So today Thijs has called one of my legal team and was very weird in his behavior, trying to understand whether these guys are representing me officially in Denmark, so trying some sort of shenanigan or foolery to make it in such a way then to prove that we have been properly served. I repeat to everybody, serving in the court is a mechanism that has nothing to do with the fact that you receive a call or an email from somebody. This is a mechanism that is very well documented by the EU regulations in 2020. The regulation, everybody can check the article, is Article 1784, 2020, and it talks clearly on how the company can be served. So we expect a lot of abuses in the next day. That's why we have That's why we have petitioned very clearly. We'll make this available for everybody. And to be clear and transparent, this document will be downloadable on the Substack. So, questions? Hi, Cosmin. Feels like things are moving nicely, Mark. Thank you for your fighting it there. It's not something that you should thank me for. We are all in this together. We're trying to figure out how this abuse functions. The good thing is that we have this law 20 from end of December, so very fresh, very new, that basically does not allow trustees to act like Kronman, Reumert and Thijs acted, okay? I think their silence means they know that they fucked up and that they don't have a strong case. No, I think the silence comes from a different perspective. For all my Romanian or non-Danish followers, or for my Danish followers, they can confirm or not, I can say that learning and living and working in Denmark has been a very interesting experience for me. Denmark is a rule of law country, a very serious country, a country that has a lot of procedures and a lot of rules that everybody understands and they can follow. Unfortunately, the problems in Denmark occur when the rules are not there to protect you, and when you have to become creative. And this is where people from my part of the world excel. We have no rules, but we are very creative. So what I'm trying to say is that you don't need to look at this scenario as a very coordinated act of from Thai's side. All his documents are quite standard. He doesn't write any documents. He just copy pastes from existing forms. You don't see any kind of creating thinking there. It's just they change the name and they send it. And if it works, it works. If not, they don't have any other reply. So right now we just put them in a situation where they don't have any operational procedure. And with all due respect, they are not also very bright when it comes to thinking outside the box. So they're afraid. They're very afraid, and they are not combative. They are not used to a style like mine, very direct, very in your face. They are more used to applying templates, exactly, very robotic, very professional, extremely reliable. But the moment that your rules fail, then is the moment when brains have to operate and work. So with all due respect for my and our enemies, they don't seem to be extremely intelligent. And also very important, I think, that for everybody to understand, I'm pretty sure that Thais didn't even know what kind of documents were sent. So he was ordering his minion Albert Mungo to send, let me just show you, for instance, what kind of documents were sent. Something like this, you know, very basic. They're all the same, sent to all the subsidiaries. And let me read it to you. So it's like, bankruptcy proceedings, Shape Robotics has been submitted into bankruptcy. The trustee of the bankruptcy estate hereby notifies Sanako I of the following. All rights related to the shares can only be exercised by the trustee. Dividends and any other payments related should be sent to the trustee's bank account. By the way, a Danske bank account. Guess what? All payments, additionally, please send us records of above notification, provide a copy of the shareholders registry, register us in your records, provide a copy of the latest annual report. So full control, full hostile takeover of any subsidiary. The same document was sent to all the subsidiaries, no matter which was their country of operation. Therefore, they had no idea how it applies to the law. What I can tell you is this is the nicest thing for us right now, because they sent the same piece of document to Romania, and they just committed a crime that they will pay for at least 3 years in prison for this, because they just accepted the fact that they are de facto directors or administrators, how we have it in Romania, the definition, and they didn't do anything, and they just left a company to die, which is gestiune frauduloasă, and everybody that knows the penal code article 240 will understand exactly what I'm talking about. So they just believed themselves above the law, and they believe that they can apply this recipe that they applied for many of Danish companies. Liquidate fast, worked with us. Now let's see. Care pe care. Good. So this will be fully informed, like I said. Questions, Peter, Bo? Ask me. Let's check also LinkedIn in the meantime. Hello, Mr. Marcel. Let's check Nordnet if anything interesting occurred there. In the meantime, as usual. Oh, I have to read this. It's just the first time I see it. Allow me to share the screen. This is a big honor. This is a big honor for everyone. I can show you that I have received a message from of support on Nordnet from one of my greatest critics. At least not a troll like progression or regression. So let's share the screen. Bo, thank you. If there is no question, can you put also on Discord the petition that we sent so everybody can have it? And also, of course, you can distribute it to any shareholder or any group. This is not any secret or anything. It's just an open petition to anyone. So let's see the comments. Let's translate it to English and read from this. So Nimbo Kromis, who you all know that has not been at all my fan, says, I must admit that I have gradually given up on trying to figure out what is going on in this circus, but I must admit that I'm starting to feel a little sympathy for Mark Abraham. Thank you, Nimbo Kromis. I appreciate it. You made my day. The man is right when he wrote at one point that he could have just accepted the bankruptcy, walk out the door and continue on today. Yeah. As you know, he didn't do that. Has also won a legal dispute for the time being, which is quite unique in the Danish context. It's not quite unique. It's the only one. Not quite unique, okay? It's the only one. What Abraham's motivation is for fighting so hard must remain uncertain. So it is because he's genuinely indignant or he's trying to cover something up. A guy that tries to cover something up is already gone. I am Romanian. I'm in a country where we don't have the same laws as in Denmark. For what everybody accused me in Denmark, I would most likely get a slap on my hand in Romania. I would be the perfect criminal for you, the perfect fraudster. Therefore, there's nothing to cover up. I'm just trying to explain to everybody this is a company that I've built with my own hands and my own nerves and resources, and was destroyed by and of course with the help of the Romanian team. But now I'm talking about from my point of view, and this is family exposure. We've put all our energy and souls into this one. We've been working. You have to understand something. This started from a studio where we have trained children in robotics, and I've started from cutting cakes to children on their birthday to a publicly listed company. So we worked our asses off from bottom up. We are not leaving this like it is. We are not just bowing down and going away, okay? I myself have been cheated by a lawyer in real estate transactions, so I can sympathize with the view claim that something has happened during the long bankruptcy proceeding that is not in full accordance with the legislation in the area. And I will not deny that Mark is able to get some of the various court he addresses to consider his objections, and who knows, maybe some of them will take them into account, as was the case with the question of legality of the bankruptcy. The troll from finance continues. Nima and Mark said that everything was in perfect order in January before the bankruptcy is declared. That was in perfect order, except that the company had an empty bed. This is absolutely bullshit. It has absolutely nothing to do with the situation. The company was not declared bankrupt because it had no money. We had 15 million euros equity line and 40 million euros contract. You can download it today. So, guys, stop. Nu mergeți după Fenta. I think I don't know how to translate it for my Romanian. You used to have a great player called Gica Hagi, and he has a saying that you should not fall for the dribble, something like that. I don't know how to translate it. They continued the discussion. There were clearly some crazy things going on in Shape Robotics leading to the bankruptcy. Mark Abraham is probably not completely clean as a whistle. I do not try to be completely clean as a whistle. We have made mistakes. All of us are making mistakes. I'm trying my best here to protect the interest of the shareholders. I will not picture myself as a perfect person. No, by far I'm not perfect. But for this time I'm right. Having said that, it's not only from the trustee that we learned that there are no assets in Shape Robotics at all, and with the dubious experience I have with lawyers, this might well turn out to be true. NIM, it's already true. You can see it. I can prove it. We have just followed the documents that I make available. there's not going to be any discussion tonight. Yesterday, Finance said that there is police reporting in Sanaco. I just explained that Sanaco had 40 million euros contract, which is public today. Read it, discuss it, see who has the right. However, I have full faith in our legal system, so if he chooses to dismiss Mark's Abraham various lawsuits or treat them against his claim, then so be it. In any case, the company is probably dead regardless of what comes out of the legal tug wars. I can tell you something very important. If the legal tug wars are true, the company is more alive than ever. Because these claims do not fall in my pocket, they fall in the company's bank account. Okay? The trustee assesses the value of the assets. I will not read the bullshit of this fellow. He doesn't even understand how this operates. So let's go back to discussion. How did go with the auditor in Romania today? Today we did an inventory of all the assets. We had a good discussion, and tomorrow we have a court ruling in which we'll try to assign a special administrator. We are discussing about how to protect. We have several procedures in Romania regarding protecting and reconstruction of companies. Most likely we'll have to fall into one of the cases. We'll try to see whether we can obtain a temporary insolvency and protection from the creditors, or maybe a direct insolvency on our request because the company is destroyed. And of course that will allow us to gain time and to try to assess exactly the damages. Everybody is absolutely, I don't know how to say the word, flabbergasted about what they have seen in the last 59 days. We simply don't understand. In Romania, probably this trustee, if they behaved like this, would have been arrested. So I don't know how things are working in Denmark, but let's see, let's get there. Good. Questions? If the trustee sold assets, can you claim damages from Kroman? No, we can claim damages for Kroman right now, north of 100 million euros. We don't need them to sell assets. They just decided unilaterally that our assets are worthless and behave that in a way that they are worthless. So everything they have done, they will pay. Don't worry. I guarantee you today that everything that was done by the trustee, they will pay up to the penny. So that list of claims that you have seen on the portal that I have created, which is close to 100 million euros, this will be paid by Kroman Reumert. It's going to be my life's work for at this moment, my next target. I've done worse than this, so I fought worse than this one. So I know how to handle these things. Maybe I was not the best CEO when it came to running a public listed company, but for sure I'm a very good CEO when it comes to wartime. This I can guarantee you, and you will see. And you already see that. I hope. Shape Fund number 1. I love your tag. What's the situation, Bo? How many shares have you managed to get for the EGM? By the way, just to prove everybody that everything is by design, again, if it's needed to have more proof and more proof and more proof, you know, sometimes. Okay, let's see where it is. We got an email from okay, found it, from Danske Bank. By the way, we don't have access to the bank account yet, so Danske Bank is not answering. Of course, Danske Bank is Kroman Reumert, so This is absolutely... So regarding the EGM, with reference to your email of 6 regarding request of confirmation of this service issuer status, they just sent us a termination letter. So just Danske Bank just decided to terminate unilaterally the service issue of our shares just to block again EGM, okay? But don't worry, this is not so simple for them, because the services will expire 1st of October 2026. I will make also this available for, or give it to you, Bob, because you can contact them and see that if you have 466, we have already a couple of Romanian shareholders that have more than 800,000. So I think we can be ready next week to submit the EGM. There is no petition, Cosmin, right now that you can join. So from my point of view, I don't think Denmark works with petitions like you see in Romania. So often it's, like I said, the country is way further than Romania, when this was maybe 30 years ago when petitions happened. So people are quite civilized there. So they just want to do this properly. But Bo or Peter, please contradict me for our Romanian followers. I would believe that Denmark is a country that is structured very correctly, so there is high respect in the governmental institutions, meaning that there's high trust there, so there is no corruption in the governmental institutions. But I don't believe anybody in Denmark protects private companies when it comes to their position against the governmental institutions and the decision. And today, things are quite simple. We have a high court ruling, so a governmental institution, the most important governmental institution, that said that the bankruptcy was unlawful. So 1-0, we see. Exactly. So the difference between the corruption at the level of the corporate entities is quite the same. Yeah, correct. The corruption is at the level of the private sector, which is also in Romania, also in Bulgaria, also in Moldova, everywhere. The difference being that in Denmark, the corruption is not so endemic when it comes to governmental institutions. So we are talking of this kind of corruption that is related to corporate corruption. But it's also very difficult. You have to understand, everybody has to understand, the country is very small. We are talking about 4,000 professionals in the financial industry, and maybe 5,000-6,000 more if you extend with lawyers, paralegal, and everything. So imagine that only one of the large, the Magic Circle companies of legal DLA Piper is there. The rest are very local, very localized. Everybody knows everybody. Look at Shape. All the 7 big law firms are all conflicted on Shape. So it's very difficult to say. They're all related in a way or another, and they try to work out of this trust system, which is very correct. If you ask me, it's very safe. So from this, but when, like I said, when things fall apart and there isn't a recipe for success or not, that's it. But imagine, Tace has zero experience being a lawyer, 30 years, 25 years, I don't know, has zero experience as a curator in international bankruptcies like ours. So we are not a Danish company in that sense. We are just a holding. You live in Denmark, Cosmin? Good. Let's not keep you more than this. I have an interview after this with a large media venue from Romania that is going to start to cover the story. So things are balancing out sooner rather than later. Let's see how it all falls into place, and hopefully tomorrow will be not such a complicated day and we can relax over the weekend. Of course, we'll have our meeting at 7 as usual in Romania. Have a very relaxing evening with your family, with your children, friends. Drink a beer, a smørrebrød, and let's see each other tomorrow. Good evening, everyone.